Hello everyone. This podcast is recorded on the 11th of October 2017. This is Ashwini Tallur from the Center for Law and Policy Research, Bangalore. Today we will be talking about the work that we've been doing on transgender rights with particular focus on the graduate course Transgender Identity and the Law in India, which was taught at the National Law School of India University and the Free Legal Aid Cell, Trans Law Cell. With me is my colleague Aashima Panikar, who has worked on both these efforts. Hi Aashima.
Hi Ashwini.
Could you please tell us about the rationale behind this course?
Yeah, so the idea of the course was that we need to address the current information gap that exists when it comes to transgender rights.
Right.
You'll find that there's very little discourse that's focused solely on transgender rights and the law surrounding it, and most law students themselves are not aware of the transgender identity. It is crucial that law students are given an opportunity to explore such a subject. Transgender persons remain one of the most marginalized communities in India, and there is systemic oppression against them, there's legal hurdles, and unless we can discuss this with students and aspiring lawyers, we won't be able to ensure that what work we do is strengthened and pushed forward.
Right.
Lawyers are the ones who at the end of the day are able to influence litigation, and legislation through their own litigation work or policy work.
Right.
And this is something that's even done by a lot of other NGOs that are involved in transgender rights. For example, in September, Jessica Lynn, a trans rights activist from the United States of America, was talking extensively at universities and colleges, and she was at CLPR as well to speak to a diverse audience about her own journey, her gender transition, and her fight for custody of her children. And you find that people are not aware of these stories, they're not aware of these problems or issues.
Yeah, that sounds like an effective way to disperse knowledge. I was at Jessica Lynn's talk and I was really surprised to hear that a person could actually be taken off of their child's birth certificate just for the fact that they had transitioned. What information was CLPR looking to convey to the students?
So we designed the course keeping in mind the varying aspects of the law and its impact or relation with the transgender identity. We structured the course by dividing it into 7 sessions, and each session discussed a different topic.
Right.
So the introductory session focused on the idea of gender and gender identity. So it explored transgender identity and its meaning, its perception in the West, as well as the local Indian narrative.
Right.
We then explored the constitutional status of the transgender identity by looking at the Nalsa judgment by the Supreme Court of India. And, the varying rights of equality, freedom, the right to life, right to privacy through the new decision in Justice Puttaswamy versus Union of India. Our third session looked at the interaction of the transgender community with criminal law, with criminalization of the transgender identity under provisions like Section 377, based on their conduct, and provisions and specific enactments like the Telangana Eunuchs Act, which is based on their identity.
Right.
We looked at transgender rights and equality. We were trying to understand how equality could be broadened in the workplace or in schools and education. And we looked at, the constitutional provisions of Article 14 or 15 to explore how it could include the transgender identities.
Right.
Session 5, we focused on the right to sex reassignment surgery and the right to health. We looked at the duty of the state to provide such healthcare to all citizens and to transgender persons.
Right.
And in session 6, we looked at family rights. We looked at cases and laws to understand how we perceive family and how oppressive these laws, and even in a lot of cases, even the case law, is with respect to your right to marry or your right to adopt. And finally, our 7th session it sort of aimed at giving direction to the whole course. We were trying to see the future of transgender rights, transgender movement, as well as the law and politics and the way ahead.
Right. Right. That sounds like a really interesting course. Were the students engaged?
Yeah, I think we saw very enthusiastic discussions in the class. The students were receptive, they were interested. They said they found their own perception and understanding of gender drastically changing through the course of the sessions. Ms. Jaina Kotari, who took these sessions, she encouraged the students to explore the future of transgender rights and the law. And even their final submissions looked at that. The course outline and the list of recommended reading materials is posted online, and we welcome and encourage all the listeners to visit our website, clpr.org.in, to learn more about the course.
Right. So now that the submissions are in and the course is officially over, how else does CLPR intend to actively promote transgender rights?
So at CLPR, we have an initiative that we have started. We started it in July. I think 18 July was our maiden session,
right,
called the Trans Law Cell.
Okay.
We sit every Tuesday between 5 to 7 p.m. and it's an open cell where we invite persons from the community to bring forward any legal doubts, queries, any problem which we can assist in. So it's a completely free legal aid clinic, essentially. And it doesn't matter whether it results in litigation and a case being filed in the court or not, but if there's anything that we can assist in, that's the idea of the cell. We are in collaboration with Swatantra, which is a transgender rights organization in Bangalore, and a member from Swatantra also attends every session, so that, that people feel more welcome to come into these sessions and are more engaged with us. And, the range of work that we do, what we've seen so far is we've helped people with helping them with their legal documentation. One of the major problems is the fact that you can't change. It's not easy to change your gender or your name in your legal documents, for example, your mark sheets or your Aadhaar or PAN. So we help in those kind of things. We also help in things like giving an affidavit, which is required in hospitals for surgeries.
Right.
And smaller things, whether it's a family dispute, which is probably because of your identity as a transgender person or anything. In fact, we put up a quarterly report on the Trans Law Cell, which is also available on our website. So maybe all those who are interested can find out about it and maybe spread the word, because at the end of the day, the idea is that more people who need or require such services are able to access them.
Right. Thanks for your time, Aashima. And thank you for listening. At CLPR, we research and litigate a wide range of issues that impact society. Please follow us on Facebook at Center for Law and Policy Research and on Twitter at CLPR Trust.